Greetings everyone and welcome to Planet Zoo. I am the Beard and it's a pleasure to have you with me today for episode 1 of a new series on this channel, and I'm really excited for it actually. It's been a long time that I wanted to sink my teeth into this game, and yeah, kind of avoided it for a while. I must admit it was a bit intimidating to begin with, but the open creativity of it has just drawn me in. I've been watching YouTube videos, other YouTubers play this game for a while, and I've been very keen to sink my teeth into it. So here we go, my attempt at Planet Zoo, and this the first episode of what I am calling the Tankwa Conservation Park. Tankwa being a real place actually. It is a national park here in South Africa, which is where I live. In fact, it's about a 4-hour drive away from where I reside, and it's what I would consider, I don't know, the spiritual home, I suppose, or my spiritual home. I very am attracted to the place. It's a semi-arid region, desert. It's not actually that big, I don't think. It's only about 1,400 square kilometers, but it is an amazingly beautiful place. And that is kind of where my inspiration for this came from. So we started out with, as you would have seen, a grassland map. And the idea is to build a zoo that is basically built or designed around an African biome, or the African continent, the biomes that exist on the African continent. So we're looking at grassland, some desert stuff, and some tropical things too. What I'm doing here, what you've seen me do on the screen so far, is lay down the sort of entrance paths to the zoo, where I kind of wanted to go out to Plaza. But before it opens out into a plaza, I wanted to kind of have like sort of an arch, a welcome arch, if that makes sense. So I think that's what I'm constructing here at the moment. And within these welcome arches, I'm putting a little sort of planter box features, if that makes sense. Yeah, so just doing a little bit of foliage decoration on the one side there. It took me a while, I must admit, to get used to the building tools in this game. They are interesting. I kind of have a rough idea of how they work, but I think I could probably get better at using them. Yeah, I think speeding the way up I use them could be really helpful in the future. I think here you're seeing me struggle with copying assets out, but here we go a little bit faster now, getting that base of that gangway up there. So like I was saying, what my plan was to kind of create a bit of an entrance there. So what I'm doing here on either side, before the actual entrance there, is I wanted to do a bit of a sort of sculpting of the sort of terrain there. Kind of wanted to sort of hem people into that gate. Not too many trees. I think I'm going to go play with some rocks just now. But here you see I'm still figuring out the mechanics of the building system. I think this little roof patch here, for some reason, took me a while. Getting grids right in this game can be very interesting. Finding out the difference between gridded pieces and scenery pieces, and sort of figuring out how they work and how they tie together. Yeah, you can see me struggling with that roof, getting it sort of to line up and look good. But it looks like I kind of got it right eventually. Eventually. Wow, yeah, really took some time there to get that one correct. Just shows you how complicated things can get, and hopefully I do get better at building and using the tools in this game. So as I said, we're going to name this Tankwa Conservation Park. I really am sort of very happy about the conservation focus that this game has, to be honest. It's something that excites me. Kind of drew me to the game, I think. The conservation aspect of it. I'm not a big fan of traditional zoos, I must say. I'm a very big fan of wide open natural spaces, so more parks, national parks than zoos. But yeah, the conservation work that zoos do around the world is amazing, and I can't really take away from that. And I think that the focus this game has on that is admirable. I think I'm just placing a couple of lights around here, trying to figure out how they work. I don't know if I actually got those in the right place. I think I figured out later on that those are better on the floor. Yeah, giving a bit of a decoration to this, I think, making that entrance a bit more epic, a few more decorations. I must say the assets in this game are actually very cool. I'm really looking forward to sinking my teeth deeply into them. I think you can perhaps go a little bit crazy with them, which is a risk. I think I can perhaps sometimes go a little bit overboard, but we'll see how that goes. So it looks like I've almost finished this sort of entranceway here. I think what I'm doing is I'm looking for a couple of more scenery pieces. Yeah, I decided to settle on these shields there. I think they look pretty cool. I don't know how much about South Africa everyone knows, but South Africa is home to quite a few indigenous populations, one being the Zulu Nation, and those remind me somewhat of Zulu shields, although the colouring isn't quite correct, but there you go, the shields do remind me. I only figured out later, I must add, that you can in fact entirely remove this pre-built zoo entrance area. I only realized it later on, after I actually recorded this. I think I was watching a video by Mr. Paulsley where I saw that you could delete this whole entrance, which I wish I'd known earlier, but nevertheless I think I've kind of dressed it up a bit by adding in some bamboo dividers along that entranceway and putting in a couple of bits of plants there in some pots. So this is what I was talking about earlier. My plan with the zoo really is to have this sort of long entranceway that kind of walks into the zoo with exhibits immediately on the left and right as you walk into them. But I don't want them to sort of be immediately accessible. I want them to kind of be hidden behind some kind of mounds, I suppose. I want them to sort of peek out. So I think this is me experimenting with some of the rocks and kind of figuring out what you can do with the rock work. And some of the foliage to kind of hide some of those things. I think that there's a key thing that I do want to point out with this is that a lot of these early things that I'm doing here are essentially me trying to figure out how things really work. So I think on that one side I focused on a few rocks, and the side a little bit lower with a few more trees. I think those are some proteas I'm putting in there. Proteas, also another plant that is native to my home, as are the aloes, which you saw me stick in there as well. In fact, I've got a giant protea bush right outside my window, and a couple of aloes too. So very happy to squeeze those into the game. So I think that that's the entranceway done. Now what I wanted to do here is, as you see, as it comes out of that arch and it kind of opens out into this little plaza area here, what I was hoping on doing here was creating a sort of like a sort of entrance opening plaza. So I think what you're seeing me doing there is I put down a toilet, and I want to kind of put some ATMs down on that side where you're seeing me working on there with the toilets as well. And then the other side we've got some, I think it's an information booth. A hat's fantastic, because I figured that blazing sun of the African savannah, one's going to need a hat to keep one sunny and shady. And then I think I have also slipped in like an information booth, just a memento, and the hat's fantastic. Yeah, just a memento. I thought a memento shop close to the entrance would be a kind of cool thing to add. Here again, you see me kind of trying to figure out how to use the grid system to copy things across. I think I decided to sort of play with the terrain there on the sides as well, kind of build it out and get an idea that entranceway really wants to push you through into this little plaza. Architecture wise, I think I decided here to stick with a lot of the style that was coming from that entranceway there. I think I just kind of wanted to pull through some of the architecture a little bit. Also kind of expedient learning how to use some of the pieces a little bit, I think, as well. Kind of figuring out how those all kind of fit together. I do on these buildings here shift to using a different roofing style. I think what I'm trying to do here now is carry that initial architectural style from that entranceway through, which I did with the wood pillars, with the wooden boards or the wooden walls that I used on that entranceway as well. But starting to bring in more of that African theme. I kind of see this as being a sort of a modernish entrance way, maybe built a bit earlier, a bit newer. So this entranceway to this park is a bit sort of new, and just had some additional things. So what I actually see a lot here in South Africa is modernish buildings with sort of very African influenced designs. So we have a sort of Boma style buildings here, which are buildings with large thatch roofs, sort of over semi-open spaces. So I think I kind of want to try and pull a lot of that architectural style through here into what we're doing on this side of the map here with this little plaza entranceway. I think I could have probably done a little bit better with this building here. I could have probably built one and then just duplicated it and moved it over. But if for some reason I decided to build both of them individually, which I think took me a bit more time than I anticipated. But that is perhaps also because I wanted to fit in little ATMs as well in this area. You see me struggling with the layout of those walls there, slamming in those glass sides there, which give it that kind of modernist look, I suppose. Kind of checking that we've got all of those pieces there. So I thought the style here in this little entrance plaza actually kind of looks quite good. Not unhappy with it. I think for a first attempt it ended up coming out pretty good, and at the end of this time-lapse sort of speed build here, I will do a little bit of a walkthrough where we can actually have a look at what it looks like. So I think I'm putting down some slightly different floor tiling there, drop those ATMs, dropping in a signboard there. Just want to put in toilets and ATM just so people know. Figuring out what the fonts are available. I really like those signboards actually. I kind of like the fact that you can do those editable signboards actually. Just adding a couple of decorations in there and making sure that all of that looks good. Toilet sign, I think. And I do attempt, I think, to put in an ATM sign, but I think I decide against it because I've got that one out in the center. Just really figuring out what things to use here. So while I continue with that, and I think I'm going to attempt a roof just now. I think we put in the flat roof first, just so that there's a ceiling above everything. And then I go along with a thatching, I think, to round it all off, if I remember correctly. But before we do that, I just want to talk about sort of the animals, which I'm sort of planning for the zoo. I obviously, as I said, want to focus on the biomes that are unique to the African continent, so the grassland, desert, and tropical biomes. And I'm going to try and squeeze as many animals into this zoo or park as I possibly can, I think. I'm obviously going to try and focus on the grassland and desert animals. I have sort of natural affinity to them. I think they'll fit into the theme that I want to create a little bit more as well. But I'm also keen to look at doing sort of large tropical indoor domes, perhaps, and have some of the more African tropical animals represented in there. But I'm particularly quite keen on making a bit of a safari area too, trying to get one of those sort of habitats in which has as many animals as possible. So trying to squeeze some buffalo and elephant into there, and maybe a couple of the buck as well. I'm very keen on some of the buck. And then I'm also really keen to play with some of the lemurs. I think there's ring-tailed lemurs, and I think there's red-ruffed lemurs in the game. I'm kind of keen to get those into the park too. And then I am also very drawn to some of the I suppose, I don't know if they're odd animals, but I'm very keen on getting a spotted hyena in. I think it's actually might be one of the first sort of exhibits I do try and get into the zoo or into the park. It's probably a spotted hyena. And then obviously the chimps and the monkeys, always keen to play with those guys. They're good. I'm also going to try and squeeze in some animals that are perhaps not from the African continent and those biomes. So I think reptiles and frogs and those kind of things. It's always good to have some of those represented from elsewhere around the world. And I kind of get the feeling that in a place like this, it's easier to keep them in those exhibits than some of the animals that are perhaps not native to the continent, and I do want to try and keep this as sort of realistic as possible. So here you can see me playing with that thatched roofing that I spoke about, trying to pull a different architectural feel through into the style now. I think I used some of those shade awnings on this side as well to give that feel that there's a little bit more of a bunch of shops inside there. I think that entrance looks kind of good. These poles are pretty cool, I must say. I think they kind of give a very cool additional style to things. Again, bringing the theming that I want to pull through in some of the other buildings into these buildings, so kind of they start molding through. This is where I think I kind of figure out that you can build something once and then just copy it over, and it just speeds your life up drastically. So there you go, I managed to get that roof over, build it once, and place twice, I suppose. Right, I think we're getting semi towards the end of the stream now. At this point, I think I've kind of decided that once those two were done, I wanted to build a little bit of a shaded area sort of in between these two buildings. As I said, Africa is a sunny place, and you kind of want as much shade as possible, and I don't want to overcrowd the place with trees. And so the next way to do it, I felt, was with some good shade items. So I think this is me trying to sort of experiment with some of these some shading beams here to hold up some shade plots, experimenting with some of the length. I kind of wanted to get some tables in there too, just to fill out the space. I'm not sure if there's a real reason for those to be there. I'm not sure if anyone's actually going to sit underneath them, I think that looks kind of cool actually, that sort of triple shaded area there. I think I sink it down a little bit more, give it a little less height, and position it a little bit more within that sort of central area. And I think that once we've fleshed everything out with some foliage around those buildings, etc., it's going to be a very interesting little plaza. I think this is me remembering to get some pins in, etc. So we're coming fast towards the end of the speed build. I just want to give you a sort of a preview heads up of what we're aiming to do in the next episode. I think we're going to build a big, large exhibit area, probably at the top of this path that you're seeing there. There's a little bit of a mound that I've excavated out there, where I think that building is going to sit, and I think that's going to house probably some exhibits, not a habitat. I think we're probably only going to get our first habitat in the third episode. I think I wanted to spend a lot of time with these building bits, and my plan is to build out that big exhibit next, but that's the next episode. I think now what I am doing is I'm just sort of putting in a few more extra foliage items, fleshing out this area, making it look a little bit cool, slamming in an information sign there. I think that kind of shows that what this is all about. And I am putting now the final bits of touches to the immediate sort of nature areas out the side of that gang entranceway there. Dropping some rocks in, just making it look kind of fleshed out and filled out, I suppose. So that's, I suppose, all I've kind of got to say about this episode. Really very much an introduction to the series, and kind of give you an idea, hoping to give you an idea of what I'm hoping to build out of all of this. I think this is probably the only tree I end up placing on that side. I think I placed one on the other side as well. I love the aloes, by the way. I think I've already mentioned that aloes are native to my homeland, and they're a particular favorite of mine. So you're probably gonna see me using them quite a lot in this map. A little bit more rock work on here. I think I found some assets to play with some other things on the other side. I think I went a bit crazy with the sort of theming, and I really went I think I put an African hut on the other side even. I think we'll see that happen just now. But I think this kind of came out very well. I think it kind of fleshes out that foliage, makes all of this sort of buildings sit very nicely in there. And as I said, blocks off that walkway from what will be on either side there an actual habitat. I just want that habitat foliage to kind of peek over the side. there. I don't want anyone to actually be able to see this habitat from the side. I want to lead them and push them through the zoo. Yeah, there's that little hut that I spoke about a few minutes ago on the side of the map. I think I stuck up on that little hill. I thought it looked kind of cool. It reminds me of sort of some of the buildings you get from the Bele land buildings here in South Africa, a little bit further up north. So yeah, I think that's really about it from me. I don't want to babble on too much, but I really am, as I said, looking forward to getting the zoo going. And if there are any animals which you would like to see in some habitats sooner rather than later, please let me know in the comments. As I said, I think I might go for a hyena first, possibly in episode 3. But I'm also open to suggestions. If there are any other suggestions, please let me know. I would be keen to consider upping them up my list of animals I'm keen to build a habitat for. So yeah, I think this little rock here actually ended up looking really cool. Those aloes out there on the hill, not so foliaged out. But yeah, really cool. So I'm going to let this time lapse play out now, and then I will join you all back for the walkthrough at the end of this, where we'll take a little bit of a closer look at what we managed to build and what it looks like, because I think it ended up looking quite cool. I'll see you then. So welcome to the walkthrough, everyone. I think we're going to start as if we were here guests, and coming out of the lobby or the lift of the guest spawn, and we'll move forward and come around the corner here, and this is what we're greeted with. The theming starts right over here before we even get through our entrance gates. Let's go through, bam, straight through the entrance gates, and right up here, Tankwa Conservation Park. We have this giant entrance that greets us. Looking wonderful, and looking over to the left here, you can see there's the savannah creeping out behind with some rocks shielding in this walkway. Similar thing here on the right hand side, a little bit more trees and foliage, etc. If you just walk under this gangway here, or the entranceway, there's some lovely little features on either side of you over here. And then the rocks get a little bit higher on this side here, sort of hemming you in and pushing you forward into this sort of first plaza area, where in the center we have a sort of shaded seating area. To the right we have just a memento, the information kiosk, and hat's fantastic, so you can grab a hat to shield yourself from the sun, grab information, and then probably on your way out grab a memento as well if you want. Just in case you have forgotten. And on this side we have toilets and ATM, so just one single toilet booth over through there, and an ATM on either side. And I think that's essentially it for now. The path will take everyone up and through here, and there will be the grand first big building that'll sit over here, a bit of an indoor exhibit, and the paths will also loop out that way to the left, and to the right as well as we go out to various exhibits. But yes, that for now is the Tankwa Zoo, or the Tankwa Conservation Park. Looking back, this is what it looks like. Flying through to the arch, perhaps up and over the arch, and then swing back around. Yes, that's the Tankwa Conservation Park, everyone. Looking good. I'm really looking forward to doing more. And I'm looking forward to seeing you for episode 2, where we shall hopefully build our first animal enclosure. I'll see you then. Till then, keep safe. I'm the Beard, signing out.